Hello, welcome back to Catholic Reboot. Today is not a feast day, right? It's a federal day, and so I thought I'd take the time to do two things in this episode. One is I want to discuss the liturgical calendar a little bit. In other words, explaining how to read a liturgical calendar and what the symbols mean. Then I also want to go into the Shroud of Turin. Okay. Um, you'll have people that will say, I just don't feel complete. There's something missing in my life. All I do is get up, go to work, pay my bills. If they're young parents, running the kids around, and at the end of the day, I feel empty, right? Or I'm just exhausted, right? Well, I mean, you really have to think about it. Before there was your parents, there was God, right? Before there was your husband or wife or girlfriend, there was God. Before there were children, there was God. Before your job, there was God, right? And the emptiness is that we all come from God, right? So our soul is from God. So it makes sense that we would feel empty if our day doesn't include God in it, right? And did you ever notice that you could do something for someone and you get so aggravated because you say, went out of my way for this person for whatever event or happening, and they didn't even show any gratitude, but yet they'll go and be grateful to someone that didn't do anything for them, right? And you'll hear people say that. Well, even more so with Christ, right? I mean, he came and he died for us, but what do? We put our attention on other people and things other than Christ. So, how do we correct this? And I've talked about this before. When you wake up in the morning, set your day by as soon as you sit up in bed, say, Good morning, Jesus. Okay. And as you're heading to the shower, say, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, I love you. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph save souls. You're starting to program yourself for the day, right? Then you look at your calendar. Before you look at your work calendar, before you look at your kids' calendar, school calendar, sports calendar, look at your liturgical calendar and see what the day is. And if you're fortunate and it's a saint's feast day, try to find time in the day, which you know you can, and research the saint. If it's not a saint's day, but it's a day of maybe potentially fasting or prayer, then try to follow that, right? So try to do a little bit of penance. So what I'm going to throw up on the screen is just I'm using May as an example, and you'll see all the dates for the month, and you'll either see a saint's feast day or you'll see something else, right? A symbol. Well, the Catholic liturgy has different ranks or feasts, right? So on a particular day, there may be a major fast, and there also may be a minor uh, fast of some, I'm sorry, a major feast or a minor feast of some saint, right? On Sundays, typically outrank the feast of a saint, which falls on the same day. So major feasts, an example would be the Assumption, will outrank a Sunday. So for that purpose, uh, on this calendar, we show both the major and the minor feasts so as to give you information on each saint, right? But understand that the priest using the ordo will say the mass for the ranking feast of the day, right? So the order, right? Now, my dad had made a comment one night when after we had said our rosary, um, that when you're looking at Pentecost, it falls on a Thursday. Why would you push it to a Sunday, right? Out of convenience, right? And his comment was this: why are we trying to make things so important, convenient, rather than doing some self-sacrificing? And the church should hold that feast day on that feast day. And that's a very good point. Now, the next thing I want to show you is liturgical colors of the vestments worn by a priest at Mass. And you'll see this on the calendar. You'll see these symbols, right? So the white is the symbol of light. The red symbolizes fire and blood. The green is the hue of plants and trees, which basically speaks to hope of life eternal. Purple symbolizes mortification, and black is the universal emblem of mourning, right? So when you see those symbols for the day, you pretty much know that if you go to mass, you'll see the priest wearing those colors to remind you of what that day's purpose is. The other thing is you'll see symbols on the calendar of a cross, which looks almost like a Latin cross, and that means a holy day of obligation. So when you're looking at your calendar and you see the cross, you know you have to get to Mass that day, right? You don't need your father or mother to call you to remind you. Um, the fish is a day of full abstinence, right? The half fish is a partial day of abstinence, right? Now let's talk about the saints' designations. And I'm not going to read them, but to be honest with you, I didn't really know this when I looked at my calendar. I thought those alphas after their name denoted the order they are from, but it's not. So, just for instance, Saint John the Evangelist, after his name was the EV, right? So I'm putting that up there so you can see what each one of those alphas mean after the saint's name, right? Now there's a note for a feast of multiple saints, the designation is repeated, right? So if you had two saints that were martyrs after both their names, it'll say MM in a plural. The other is laws of fast, right? So the laws of fast apply to persons between the ages of 21 and 59. The half fish symbol on the fast day, one can eat one full meal and two light meals, right? Now, you're going to say, is it really that important? It really is. What this does is it gets you in a penitential spirit. It takes you outside of yourself, right? The other is laws of abstinence, and I'm putting them up on the screen as well. Okay. So the laws of abstinence apply to everyone 7 years of age and over. And once again, it explains whether it's a complete abstinence or partial abstinence, right? Then you'll have what they call ember days. Ember days are the days at the beginning of each of the four seasons, ordered by the church as days of fast and abstinence, right? They're they are Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday of the week, where Wednesdays and Saturdays are days of fast and partial abstinence, and the Friday is the day of fast and, of course, full abstinence. Then there's what they call feria days, right? Or ferial, is used to denote the days of the week with the exception of Sunday and Saturday. Um, Today, those days are called ferial, upon which no feast is celebrated. In most cases, a ferial day has the Mass of the preceding Sunday, but some ferial days have a specific Mass for that liturgical week, right? Um, there's the calendar links as well that are provided. Okay, so if you have this on an iPad or a laptop, you can click on that and you'll get a full explanation of what it is. So this is a good way for you to get used to setting your day right, and it'll get rid of some of that hollowness you find in your day because you're going outside yourself, and you're basically saying to Christ, you're I I thank you for what you've done for me, and I want to give my day to you. And I don't know if you remember the episode I did where I said Christ first, Christ second, Christ last. Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to actually just show a small clip on the Shroud of Turin. I find that many people just do not pay attention to the great relic or gift that was left for us, right, to see. And so we were so fortunate that we're at the day when science can actually give us a full 3D image of Christ and actually verify the number of lashes he took. So, in a previous episode where I showed the scourging of Christ from the movie The Passion of Christ, this fully supports how much suffering Christ went through for us. I'm also going to put in the show notes a link that has a video that's about an hour long. It's very detailed. Of course, I can't show that in an episode. It's just too long. But go to the show notes and click on that link. It's well worth your time. Again, turn off Netflix, turn off cable news, make an hour and watch it. Why? This is just great for you because when you're saying your sorrowful mysteries and you've already watched all this, you'll put that image in your mind and it'll bring you great sanctifying graces to unite yourself with the suffering of Christ and what he went through for us, right? So, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next episode.
In early 2018, researchers in Rome unveiled a 3D carbon copy of what Jesus looked like, based on measurements of the Shroud of Turin. The Shroud of Turin is a 14-foot linen cloth that is believed to have wrapped the body of Jesus Christ after his crucifixion. The statue is a three-dimensional representation in actual size of the man of the shroud, created following the precise measurements taken from the cloth. Giulio Fanti, a professor of mechanical and thermal measurements and a scholar of the Shroud of Turin, used his own measurements of the impression on the shroud to create the carbon copy. Professor Fanti has studied the shroud for the last 20 years and led the research team that created the 3D model of Jesus. Based off the model, they are able to tell he was nearly 5 feet 11 inches tall, whereas the average height at the time was around 5 feet 5 inches tall. Researchers believe that they finally have the precise image of what Jesus looked like. And based on the marks on the Shroud of Turin, Jesus received a total of at least 600 blows. The sculpture of his tortured body reflects these wounds. Professor Fanti said, "I counted 370 wounds without taking into account the wounds on his sides, which the shroud does not show because it only enveloped the back and the front of the body. We can therefore hypothesize a total of at least 600 blows." Professor Fanti goes on to say, "We have studied for years the image left by the body on the sheet, using the most sophisticated 3D technologies, and the statue is the final result." The University of Padua and Padua Hospital worked in collaboration with sculptor Sergio Rodella to create the life-size image. Now, I read about 20 different articles on this topic, hoping to read about how they made the actual 3D copy itself. What technique or machine did they use? Did they sculpt it by hand, or did they use some kind of 3D printer? But not one article or video covers that information. However, I found another video from July 2017 of a 3D statue made out of bronze, and the statue itself is, from what I can tell from the video, identical to the 3D carbon copy statue, as his pose and marks on the body look the same. They explain the process in making the statue in the About section on that video, and this is what they said. The shroud is encoded with 3D information that is found from the spaces between the highest and lowest points of the body and its distance from the cloth. Recently, a VP8 analyzer that gives topographical information about the Moon and Mars terrain was used on the cloth. A 3D holographic image was formed of the face and body. An artist then used the exact dimensions of the 3D shroud image to create a bronze replica of the physical form of Jesus Christ. Now, I know there is some debate over whether the Shroud of Turin is authentic or not. I'm not here to debate that. I'm just reporting on a story about a 3D model made from the Shroud of Turin, which I thought was a unique enough story to report on. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen.